The next time you find yourself out to dinner with monetary policy junkies, it could happen. You might get caught in the crossfire of a passionate debate about corridors and floors. In this crowd, it is unlikely they are complimenting the building. They're arguing about one of the biggest changes to central banking in the 110-year history of the Fed. And it happened not that long ago, out of the pressures of the Great Financial Crisis and Recession. Okay, so the corridor part refers to the Fed walking a path between two important interest rates. To keep its target interest rate along the corridor, the Fed used what's called open market operations, buying and selling short-term treasury bonds. This kind of fine-tuning operation for years and years was usually enough to set off a chain reaction of interest rates, higher or lower, across the economy. To buy or sell those treasuries, the Fed would credit or debit the reserve accounts that banks have at the Fed. Those are important. We're going to come back to them in a minute. But in 2008, the depths of the Great Recession, the economy and the financial system were still in peril, and the target interest rate was rapidly heading toward zero. In other words, we were slammed up against one side of the corridor. The Fed wanted to continue to help the economy, but this fine-tuning corridor approach was out of power to bring rates any lower. And this is where some more important Fed jargon comes into play: quantitative easing. The Fed started buying billions that became trillions of dollars of long-term Treasury and mortgage-backed securities. This, in turn, pumped trillions of dollars into those bank reserve accounts at the Fed that I talked about earlier. This boosted economic activity by lowering long-term interest rates. But now that banks had these enormous reserve balances, it kind of broke the old corridor tool. Trading bonds to make little tweaks to the reserve supply anymore, that's like poking an elephant with a toothpick. So today, the Fed takes a different approach. It pays interest directly on those reserve balances. This is the movable floor. When the Fed moves that floor up or down, interest rates across the economy react. Truth be told, many economists do not love these corridor floor staircase metaphors, but we seem to be stuck with them. And now you are a little more ready at that intense dinner party to talk about architecture and monetary policy.